Let me start with the discussion. The moment I say environment is nothing but force.com instance. Whenever I use a word called environment, I am speaking about instance of a force.com. Generally, when I say instance of a force.com, what we are going to get? Let us take, I want to work with the Sales Cloud. When I want to work with the Sales Cloud, when I say environment, then it includes infrastructure, which is our server, space, networking. On the top of the infrastructure, we have OS, networking, OS, networking. On the top of it, I'll be giving softwares, tools, whatever you need. With, I told I am looking for a Sales Cloud. Because you are looking for a Sales Cloud, on the top of it, Sales Cloud application is installed.
Muted.
Right. This is my environment. I told I was looking for an environment for Sales Cloud. Now they give me force.com, on the top of it, whatever the application you are looking for. Now this is my instance. Environment is nothing but instance of a force.com. On the top of the force.com, whatever the application, whatever the cloud you are looking for, that will be offered. Now if I am looking for a Sales Cloud, they will offer me the Sales Cloud application. If I am looking for a Service Cloud, on the top of the force.com, they will offer me the Service Cloud application. So when I say environment, it is an instance of. When I say environment, it is an instance of force.com. It is an instance of force.com. Right. Now this instance is classified into two types, basically three types. One is a production, another one is a developer's environment, third one is the tester's environment. The environment is classified into three types. One is the production environment, developer's environment, tester's environment. Right. Boss, everything I am going to explain, I'll give you a hard copy. Spend the time in listening to my conversation. If you are writing the notes, neither you follow my conversation or your notes will be complete. Okay, with the speed I give, you never will be able to write a notes. Right, I will not give that much time. Please concentrate on listening to my conversation. Whatever I speak will be given to you in the form of hard copy. So don't be busy in writing the notes. Right. Now let us come back. When I say environments are classified into three types: production environment, another one is a developer's environment, third one is the tester's environment. When I say when I say production environment, let us see. What do you mean by this production? Now, IBM has developed my application. Or else let us take your mobile phones. The Samsung mobile you have purchased. When you purchased, Samsung people have given mobile phone with a software. Right. Now, on the mobile, when you purchase the mobile, there is no data. Only mobile is there, your application, software is there. Then what do you do? According to my usage, to whomever I want to make a call, I will share their contact numbers, my messages, my emails, my photo, my chart, everything is in my mobile. Now what I have? I have my application along with live data. Now, when I want to use this mobile, when I'm using this mobile, whatever the live data is there, there's my contacts, my chart, my photos, my emails, everything was there in the mobile. Now, the Samsung is only giving you what? Samsung is only giving you mobile with an application. Now, everybody have the same application. Whoever is purchasing that model of Samsung mobile, if somebody purchases iPhone 8, everybody will have the same software, same features. But person to person, your data will change. Now that is your live data, your business data. On your mobile phone, what is the data you have? Your business data. So, okay, iPhone cannot build your data. iPhone can build only application. Once they sell the application to you, according to your requirement, you are storing the data what you want. You are storing the contacts or emails or photos or whatever the application you need. Now, apart from what the software they are giving, you are also installing some extra tools. Now, I want some WhatsApp, I want some locker service. You are installing all this. Now, what is this? Once you purchase and start using, it becomes a production for you. Now, software is available with iPhone also. The Apple company has manufactured the software. Apple company has developed the software, but they don't have your data. Now, application along with the live data will be called production environment. Application along with the live data is called production environment. Now, your mobile phone, once it comes to you, it is a production. With the same mobile phone, when it is with the Apple company, it is only application. Now, when it comes to you, it becomes what? Production. They have developer environment. When the same Apple phone, the same iPhone, if it is available with the Apple company, it is called developers environment. The same iPhone, when they give to you, when you start using, it has become what? Production. Because on the application, you also have the live data according to you. This live data will not be available with the Apple, that is available as per your requirement. Am I clear? Am I clear? So what is a production environment? It is a instance of force.com, because I told you Salesforce company already developed an application. Salesforce company already developed a CRM application. According to your need, that application is given to you on rental basis. You are not building everything from scratch. When you take a Java application, you are supposed to build everything from zero. But when you go to Salesforce, applications are already developed. Whichever the application is suitable to you, you are taking that application from the Salesforce people. You are taking that application from the Salesforce people, then you are putting your data and using it. Salesforce can give you what? Only an application. Now, if you want to use this application, your customer data you have to insert. Your live data you have to insert. Are you getting? So, when I want to use Salesforce application, what I was supposed to do? What I was supposed to do? Purchase the application from the Salesforce. What they are giving? Production environment they are giving. Are you getting? Are you clear about it? Now, whatever the application you requested, they have given that application. In that application, you are putting your data and using it. Now, this is called as production environment. Are you clear? Now, our Salesforce application will start with the production. Regular application, like when you take Java.NET, they will start with the developer environment. Because first a developer has to develop the application, then only I can make it live. But in the Salesforce, application is already available. Application is already available. So we are starting from where? Production. When you take non-cloud based application, they will start with the developers environment. They will develop an application. When everything is okay, they will give to the customer as an application. So their process is development, testing, then go to production. But in our Salesforce, application is already developed. We are starting from production. In the production, if I want any changes, then I'll go to developers environment. Are you clear? Am I clear with this? So here the Salesforce application will start with production. The moment you purchase a application, they will give you production environment. I hope you are good with this. Everyone is good? Right. What is an environment? Environment is a instance of force dot. Environment in the Salesforce is used for production, development environment, environments in the Salesforce classified into three types. Permission. One is production sandbox material. Sandbox. Developers environment, testing environment. Now, first we'll start with production. What is the production? It is a instance of force.com. It is an instance of force.com. Then this will contain the live data required to run the it is an instance of force.com. This will contain the live data required to run the business logic. This will contain the live data required to run the business logic. This is called product. Now look at this. Production environment. Developers environment. Testing environment. Now, first we'll start with production. What is the production? It is a instance of force.com. It is an instance of force.com. Then this will contain the live data required to run the it is an instance of force.com. This will contain the live data required to run the business logic. This will contain the live data required to run the business logic. This is called production environment. This is called production environment. Right. Now look at this. Everyone, look at this structure. Now generally when I say application, what will be there? There will be some tables to store the data. Whenever I say environment, generally there will be some tables to store the data. Try to understand this. I have this employee table, employee ID. Now I have some payments, mode of payment, some tables I have, some data I have. This is the application. In the application also contains what? Application also contains your programs, pages what you developed, settings, options, all the business rules. When you want, this is only a table and data. If you want to run this data, if you want to use this data, we require some program. Now application contains some group of programs. Some pages will be there. Some rules will be there. Some business rules which will decide the flow, and some settings. Enable the user, disable the user, enable the object, disable the object, some settings. So when I say it is a production environment, you are going to have tables, you are going to have programs, pages, business rules, settings, and live data. And the live data. Production contains tables, data, programs, pages, business rules, and settings. Entire set is called a production. Now, from the Salesforce company, I purchased a production. I am going to put my data. Now, I want to make some changes on this. Whatever the application Salesforce has given to me, that is not according to my requirement. Some of the pages I have to modify. Some of the logics I have to change. Salesforce has developed an application. That application I took on rent, they gave me like a production. Now, whatever the application they give me, that is not 100% according to my requirement. There are some changes I have to make, or else I want to add some extra logics to it. I want to add some extra programs to it. Then what happened? Then we are going to create a copy of the production. Whatever the production we have, similar copy we are going to create. Whatever the production we have, similar copy we are going to make it. Whatever the production we have, similar copy I am going to make it. But in this copy, I will not give my live data, because the live data is very sensitive. I cannot give my business data to the developer. I will give only application. I will give only application. When I say application, whatever the software is there in your iPhone 8, the same software I give. It is not your contacts, your photos, and your other data. Now, if a developer require what? Only the software what you are using. You don't need your data. I cannot give, when I am giving a iPhone to someone else, I will remove all my data and give it, because I am only selling the application, not my data. Right? So what I will do, I will create exact copy of production. Now somebody, one more copy I created. So look at this. What is the difference you are finding in between? What is the difference you are finding here? Look at this. This is a copy of production. This is also a copy of production. Whatever the application is there, exact application they have given. But in one of it, we don't have any data. In another one, we have given some sample data. Now, both these are called sandboxes. Both these are called sandboxes. Application without data is called metadata. What was this called? Metadata. Application without live data is called metadata. Live data is data. Metadata plus data will be a production. Are you getting my point? Now, what is this? Metadata. When you purchase a mobile phone, what are you getting? Metadata. In that metadata, what you are doing? Using that metadata, you are creating a data. You are creating your own contacts. When you purchase any application, what will you get? Only metadata. Are you getting my point? Only application. Tables will come without data. Programs, pages, settings, rules, everything except live data. Everything except live data is called metadata. When anybody is selling the application, they only sell metadata, not the data. Data will be created by the customer who purchased the application. Whenever the developer want to build an application, he is only building application with the metadata. Customer who purchased the application, he will have application with the metadata plus data, because customer is going to enter his own data. Are you clear? Are you clear? So what is the format of application that developing companies will have? Only application with the metadata. When a client purchases the application, when he start using it, he will insert the data. Are you clear? So now I am creating a copy of production. In the copy of production, what I have? Sandbox. What is that called? Sandbox. A simple example. Basically, what is the purpose? When you are in the childhood, you used to play with the sand. You design whatever you want. If you don't like, smash it, build it. Same story. Now, whatever you want to try it, try here. Don't like it, trash it, again retry. So that's sandbox, where you can try out our enhancements, new implementations. Okay. Now, what is this sandbox? Sandbox is a copy of production's metadata. Whatever that is there in the production, the copy of production metadata or production metadata and sample data. Now, what is this? This is a copy of production's metadata. No data is given, only metadata is given. Whereas this is copy of production's metadata plus sample data. Right. Now, what is a sandbox? Sandbox is a copy of production's metadata or metadata and data. Now, if I give only metadata, that is called developer's environment. Because being a developer, I don't need any live data. For developers, what will I give? I will give a copy of production's metadata, which is given to the developers to build a new code. If you are a tester, I have to provide some live data to test the functionality. So what I am going to give for the tester? Copy of production's metadata plus data. Okay, you may say sample data or data. I hope you are good with this. Clear for everyone? So production will have metadata plus live data. That's the data. Your developer's environment will have only production's metadata. Testing environment will have production's metadata plus sample data. Or now, when I say live data, today data I will not give. Old data which will not impact the business, I will share it. That's the reason I am using a word called sample data. Okay. So let us come back. I hope you are good. So this is called a sandbox. What will I do in the sandbox? Sandbox is designed for development activities, testing activities, training. Now let us say I am ICICI Bank. I recruited a new employees in the ICICI Bank. Now they should know how to use my application. When I recruit a new ICICI employees into my bank, now they should be trained how to use this banking application. Now I cannot train them on live application. So where will I train? On the sandbox I am going to train. Right? So when I'm in the training, when they are in the training period, I will be training them how to use my application on my sandboxes. So sandbox is used for what? Development activities, testing activities and training activities. Right? Now employees of ICICI Bank, where will they work? On the production. Where will they work? On the production. Once the training is done, where they will work? When you go to a bank, they will open the production. They start entering the data, using the data. Are you clear about this? Am I good with this? So I hope you are good with metadata and data. Right? Production and sandbox. Now look at this. Let me continue. Developers environment. It is a instance of force.com. This is designed for developers to build new functionalities, enhance the application without affecting the production. Then we have testing environment. Now, let it be a production, let it be a developers, let it be a tester. Everything is running on what? Force.com. The platform is Force.com only. It is a instance of this is a design for testing activities without affecting environment. So environments are classified into three types: production, developers, and testing environment. Production, development, testing environment. Right. Then, metadata. This is a copy of entire application without data. This includes structure of. This includes the database, programs, settings, pages, business rules, automation, everything. Metadata. Then we are going with the sandbox. What is a sandbox? It is a similar copy of production metadata or metadata and data. It is a similar copy of production metadata and data. This is designed for it is a instance of it is a designed for development, testing and training activities. It is an instance of force.com. It is a design for development, testing and training activities. Then again, sandboxes are classified four types: developer sandbox, developer pro, then we have partial copy sandbox, partial copy sandbox, full sandbox. So the sandboxes are further classified into four types: developer sandbox, developer pro sandbox, partial copy sandbox, full sandbox. We will discuss one by one. Now, try to understand three technical terms now. I'll be using three technical terms. Try to understand it. I'll be using three technical terms. Try to understand these technical terms. First one. Now, this application, some changes should be made. So I have created a copy of it. I gave to a developer. Now the developer wrote some programs here. The developer wrote some programs here. Now developer wrote a program. Now what do you want? What do you want? Whatever the programs I wrote, I want to test it. I want to make them live. So what we are trying to do? Whatever the new implementations that I have done, I want to make them live. If you want to make them live, you are deploying it. So what is the meaning of deployment? Whenever I use a word called deployment, not only Salesforce, in any technology, the meaning of deployment is moving the metadata changes. Now if I write a program, what is changing? Is it a data or metadata? Program is a metadata. If I write a page, is it a data or a metadata? It is a metadata. Now moving the metadata changes from one environment to another environment is called deployment. It's not only Salesforce, any technology, the code definition of deployment. Moving the metadata changes from one environment to another environment is called deployment. Suppose if you are moving the data migration. Suppose I want to change the data from here to here. I want to create a data and I want to move the data from one environment to another environment. It is called data migration. But if you are moving metadata changes, then it is called deployment. What is the technical term we use? Deployment. So what is the meaning of deployment? Moving the metadata changes from one environment to another environment is called deployment. Okay. Look at this boss. Now this guy, this fellow, he took the copy. He is a tester. He is one tester. I asked this guy to test the application. Now he took the copy of it. When he took the copy of it, he took a copy of it. Okay. Or else let me make it this way. Now he is a developer. I asked this guy to build some new functionality. This fellow took what is the current application he has. He took a copy of it. On this copy, he made some changes. He took a copy. Right now, whatever that is there in the production, I got a copy. P1, P2, P3, page 1, page 2, page 3. He got a copy. He made some changes. He deployed it. When did he take a copy? In the month of September 2018. In the September 2018, I gave developing work to Shyam. I gave him one sandbox. Take this copy, start making the changes. In the September, he took a copy, he started working on it, made the changes, deployed it. Which copy he has? September 2018 copy he has. Again, in the month of January 2019, I want this guy to make some development activities. From September to January, number of developers are working on this. Now, they developed some pages here. P4, P5, P6. In the September month, we don't have these pages and programs. Later on, these are developed by different developers, they developed. Now, Shyam already has a sandbox, right? In the September 2018, I gave a sandbox to Shyam with a copy of the application what I have in September 2018. Again, I asked the Shyam, boss, you make some changes on my development activity, okay, on my application. When did I tell? Jan 2019. Now, when the Shyam login, what he is finding? He is finding the application which is available to you in the 2018 September. But after this, a lot of changes have happened in the application. Now, what Shyam need? The fresh copy. Today, whatever that is there in the production, if you give me this copy, it will be helpful to me. because the copy what I have is old copy. It may or may not be the same what is available in the production right now. Then what happened? Shami is requesting the people to give a fresh copy of production, which is called refresh. Then what administrator will do? You will do refresh. When you do refresh, what happened? Whatever the old copy of sandbox you have, that will be erased. Fresh copy of sandbox will be. Now what is it? If you want the current instance of the production, right now what is there in the production, you want to take that copy onto your existing sandbox. Already you have a sandbox, but it has a old version of code. You want to take a fresh copy of production into your sandbox, then we use a word called refresh. Who will refresh? Administrator will refresh from the production. You have to raise a request to the administrator. Administrator will refresh the sandbox from production. Are you clear about this? Now Sham cannot refresh. Sham has to raise a request to the administrator. Administrator will refresh. What is the meaning of refresh? What is the meaning of refresh? Taking the fresh instance of production onto your sandbox. What is the deployment? Moving the metadata changes from one environment to another environment. Generally, what is your role? You go for deployment or refresh. Being a developer, what is your responsibility? Deployment. You are asked to develop a program and deploy. What is the use of taking fresh copy every day? It is none of your role. So hardly, if today I take a fresh copy, then probably after 1 or 2 months I will take a new copy, because I am the developer. Unless I develop, there will be nothing new in the production. I am a developer. Everything I develop is already there on my copy, right? So we hardly refresh, but regular activity is what? Deployment. I hope you are good with this, right? Okay. Let me give the definitions of this. Deployment. Moving the metadata changes from one environment another environment. Deployment. Deployment can be done n number of times. Then we have refresh. Taking the fresh copy of production into the instance of sandbox is called refresh. You cannot refresh as many times as you want. There is a limitation. There is a limitation on refresh interval based on the sandbox you have chosen. Based on the sandbox you have chosen. Online, am I audible? Online people, am I audible?
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, Satish, you are audible.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Fine. Right.
Yes.
Next. Now let us go to the next point. Now when you are going for Now there is two terms again, data and files. Data size, file size. Data size means if I have a table, customer table I have. Now I am giving some data here. So when I say data size, amount of memory given to you to store the data in the table. You have multiple tables. In the tables you will store what? Data. In the table we store information. Now the space that is given to you to store the data in the table is called data size. It will specify how many records you can store in the database. Data size means number of the size given to you to store data in the table. Now everything will be stored in the table only. The amount of memory that is given to you to store the data in the table is called data size. Now file size. What is the file size? Now I want to upload my resume. Resume is a document. I want to give invoice. I want to upload my photos. I want to copy service agreements. So PDF documents, Word documents, PDFs, invoices, what images, all these are called files. All these are called files. In the table, whatever the data you are storing, it's a record. It's a data. Now, if you want to store images, files, documents, PDFs, it is called file size. So, separate memory is given for storing the data in the table, storing the PDF files, documents, Word documents, images, there is a separate memory. That is called file size. I hope you are good. Storing the data in the table is data size. Storing the images, documents, PDFs, that memory is called file size. Now, let us start with the first one. I hope you are good with this. Now, come back to the beginning. Look at this. Generally, if you are a developer in the company, forget about the cloud. General developer on the regular technology like Java developer. If you are a Java developer, what the people will do? For every developer, they will give one system where Java is installed and whatever the softwares are required, they are installed. Whatever you write, they are saved on that system. Am I right? If you are a Java developer, they will give a system where everything required to build Java application is installed. Whatever the programs you write, they will be saved on that system. Am I right? Okay. But the moment I say cloud, what does it mean? Cloud means what? Nothing should be saved on your system and everything should be accessed from browser. I should not install anything. I should not save anything on your system. Then where will you write your program? Where is those programs saved? Right? So for every developer, they will give you one developer sandbox. For every developer, what they give? They will give one developer sandbox. Now whatever you write, that is saved on your sandbox. It is like your personal computer. Whatever the programs you write, they are saved on your developer sandbox. For every developer, I will give one developer sandbox. Now, how they will access the sandbox? Open the browser, enter the username password, the sandbox will open. You can, where everything is installed, you can write your programs, you can run your programs, save your data. For every developer, they are giving one developer sandbox. Now, how many people will be working on the sandbox? On one developer sandbox, only one developer will be working. For every developer, we give one developer sandbox. If there are 1,000 developer sandboxes, I have to give. Okay. Now, when you are working on this, what will be there in this developer sandbox? For every developer, you give developer sandbox. Very good. But what is available in the developer sandbox? Now look at this. Developer sandbox is a instance of Force. First, everything should be installed there, right? Once everything is installed only, I can write my programs. So they have to provide instance of the application what you want. Now I want to build extra functionalities on Sales Cloud. First, they have to give me existing Sales Cloud application. If I want to build extra functionalities on Service Cloud, they have to give me Service Cloud application which is available right now. So it is an instance of force.com. Next, it is a identical copy of production. It is an identical copy of productions metadata. It is an identical copy of productions metadata. Only metadata will come, boss. It is designed for development activities by an individual It is designed for development activities by an individual developer. No sample data will be provided. From production. If you need any sample data, developer has to create by himself. So no sample data will come from production. If you need any sample data, developer has to build it. Then data size. How much space is available for storing the data? 200 MB. 200 MB means almost 10 lakh records. Right. Being a developer, I will not insert the data. I'll take 10 records or 15 records to test my functionality. Data size is what? 200 MB. File size. Refresh. How many times I can refresh? Refresh. One time in a day. If it is a developer sandbox, every day, one time in every day, we can take a fresh copy. Because you are a developer, they have given one time. If you are a tester, they will not give one time also. Because every day you don't take a fresh copy. Now, next, activities. What are the activities? What type of activities are performed? Development by individuals. Development activities are unit testing activities will be performed by developer on developer sandbox. So basically, it is an environment where the developers will work. When you get into the company, 90% of the times you work on developer sandbox. Okay. So it is used for single developer to develop the activities. Now all these people are working individually. Now they want to combine this and make one single functionality. Now they want to build a combined functionality. Now everybody has shared the workload. They have built their own codes on their environment. Now they want to join this. Then we go for developer. Because they want to join the code from multiple sandbox, the size has to be more. The size has to be more. It is also designed for what? Development activity only, but is a larger modules. You want to take individual modules, combine them, make a single functionality. I need more space. So what was that? Developer Pro Sandbox. When I say developer sandbox, the same story will repeat. Developer sandbox is an instance of force.com. It is an identical copy of production's metadata. It is designed for development activities by group of developers. In the developer sandbox, how many can log in? One can log in. In the developer pro, group of people can log in, work simultaneously. In the developer sandbox, only one person can log in and work. In the developer pro, group of people can log in and work on it. I hope you are good. Then, no sample data will be given. No sample data will be given. If you want any data, you have to create it. Then, let us go with the next one. Data size 1 GB. File size, refresh interval, one time in a day. Activities, now development, more than one developer. Next, it will perform integration testing. The extra point is integration, integrating the instance from multiple sandboxes and testing it, integration testing. It is also called QA environment, quality assurance. It is also called QA environment. Right. So generally individual developers are working, they are pushing their code into one environment, they are making a quality assurance, then they will go for testing it. Right. These two sandboxes are designed for what? Development activities. These two sandboxes are used for development activities. Now I want to test it. If I want to test it, our next sandbox. These two are designed for what is this? Partial copy, sandbox. What is this partial copy sandbox? It is a design for testing activities. It is purely designed for testing activities. Now look at this. I hope everybody is good with this. So in one go, you will not be getting all technical terms. Repeatedly when you are using, you will be addicted to this. Partial copy sandbox. When I say partial copy sandbox, what is the purpose of this? Partial copy sandbox, instance of force.com. It is a copy of production. It is an identical copy of metadata and sample data. It is an identical copy of productions, metadata and sample data. It is designed for testing activities. It is designed for testing activities. Sample data of 10,000 records per table will be given. can be provided. Then what is the data size? 5 GB. Data size is 5 GB. File size 5 GB. Refresh interval 1 time in 5 days. What type of activities are done? What type of activities? All testing activities except all type of testing activities except load testing and performance testing. All type of testing except load testing and performance testing. It is also called UAT environment. Yes. User acceptance testing environment. It is also called UAT environment, user acceptance testing environment. Partial copy sandbox. It is also called UAT environment. Next one. Last sandbox what we have is full sandbox. It is also called staging environment. Now what was this? It is a exact copy of production environment. Full sandbox is exact copy of production environment with a complete metadata and data. With a complete metadata and data. With a complete metadata and the data. Partial copy will have sample data, whereas the full sandbox will have complete data. So full sandbox is a identical copy of production metadata and data. Full sandbox is a copy of production's metadata and data. Metadata and data. Right. This is also called staging. What type of activities? Purely it is designed for testing activities. Purely it is designed for testing activities. What type of testing? All type of testing, including load and performance. Including the load testing and performance. If you want to test the load and performance, I need a huge amount of data. That is the reason I go for full sandbox. So I can just give exact replica of this story with 1 or 2 points changes. What is that? Full sandbox. No. So full sandbox. Full sandbox is an instance of force.com. It's an identical copy of production's metadata and data. It is designed for testing activities. Data. Now, what is the data size? Exact size of the exact size of production. Refresh time 1 time in every 29 days. one time in every 29 days. Now refresh interval will be one time in every 29 days. Now it is also called staging environment. It is also called staging environment. It is also called staging environment. One step before the deployment. Now, I hope everybody has got the story. Right. Now look at the point. Every time we don't follow the same structure, boss. Depends upon the size of the project. Depends upon the size of implementation. We'll go for this procedure. Now, if you are building a big implementation, I will follow the procedure. Now, for every one page, for every object I create, I will not do all this procedure. Now, depends upon the size of the implementation, depends upon the impact it is going to create on the existing application, the procedure will be followed. On paper, as per your JNTU, this is the flow. Right. But in practical, depends upon the size of the implementation, impact it is going to cause on the functionality, the procedure will be followed. Let us say I want to disable a button. I will not do all this load testing, performance testing, and all this stuff. If I am really building a big module, then I go for this procedure. Otherwise, based on the size of the implementation, I will take a call whether to follow this or not. Okay. But in general, you are supposed to follow this procedure. Okay. Then from staging it goes to production. From staging it goes to production. So this is the general environmental structures we have.